हेलो फ्रेंड्स, केजी क्लासेस में आपका स्वागत है। आज हम आपको एडोनाइस पोएम जो पीबी शैली की है उसका आगे स्टैंजा के बारे में बताएंगे। फोर्थ स्टैंजा। यूरेनिया इज द मोस्ट म्यूजिकल ऑफ मॉर्नर, शी हैड मॉर्न्ड फॉर वन मिल्टन हु वाज ब्लाइंड, ओल्ड एंड लोनली, वट वाज द क्रिएटर ऑफ इमॉर्टल harmonies. He met his death without any fear and in an uncompromising spirit. His spirit still reigned over earth. He was the third great epic poet. Stanza next. Shelly asked Urania to weep again in remembering Milton. Not all poets could reach the height of glory that he did. Those who knew their limitations were happier. Others who had more splendid gifts were struck down by the malice of man or God and cut off early in their promising career. Yet there are some who carry on their struggle against all criticisms to achieve fame. Next stanza. Now the youngest son of Urania has perished. He was fostered like a pale flower, nourished by some sad maiden with tears instead of dew. Shelly, also the most musical of mourners, to weep anew for one who was the loveliest and the last of her children, one whose poetic genius has been rendered utterly waste. Next stanza. Keats died in Rome, where he came for a chance of climate. In Rome, death keeps his kingly state in the midst of natural beauty and ruins of past glory. He bought with his life and grave among the eternals. Shelly asked the mourner to go there and to see Keats under two canopy of the blue Italian sky, which is his funeral vault. He should not be disturbed as he is enfolded in deep and quiet rest, forgetful of all else. Next stanza. Adonais, Keats will never wake again, though he lies within the twilight chamber, yet decay has not yet taken complete possession of him. Decay will have to wait outside till death completes in his course. Keats is buried in his grave. Next stanza. Let the dreams mourn for Adonais. These dreams were his flocks, the offspring of his impassioned thoughts. Let them not wander from mind to mind, but stoop before him and mourn their unhappy lot. They should gather round the cold heart, for no more will they draw life from it or find a home again. Next stanza. One of Keats' thoughts, depicted as a fairy, grasped Keats' cold head with her trembling hands and fanned him with her moonlight's wings. The dream crisis, the object of our love, our hopes and sorrow, cannot be dead. It was in fact a lost angle of a ruined paradise. Soon it vanished into nothing like a cloud that had discharged its rain. Next stanza. Another poetic thoughts of Keats washed his light limbs with sparkling dew from a lucid urn, as if embalming them. A third dream clipped her profuse locks and put the wreath upon him like an anadem strung with tears. A fourth dream, in her wild grief, would break her bow and sorrow arrow, as if to lessen a greater grief with a smaller one. Next stanza. Yet another dream descended on his mouth, from which she used to draw her living breath, which gave it strength to pierce the guarded wit. The shining dream passed through his panting heart and flushed through his pale limbs for a moment. Next stanza. Then desires, adorations, pursues persuasion, destinies, splendor, glooms, hopes and fears, fantasy, sorrow with sign and pleasure came as mourners in a procession. The slowly moving procession appeared like the peasantry of mist on an autumnal stream. Next stanza, besides these came mourning, melancholy, thunder, and pale ocean. The wild winds also flew round, sobbing in their dismay. Next stanza, Echo now deserted nurses her grief on the song of kids and will no more respond to winds or fountain or the word song or to the horn of herdsman or to the bell at the close of the day. Kids was dearer to her than Narcissus, for whose love she pined away. Now the woman, while singing her, hear only the dearer murmur of the sad echo. Next stanza, the young spring was distracted on account of grief which made it as if it were autumn. All the delight of spring is gone. Hyacinth was not so dear to Phoebus, nor was Narcissus to himself as to both was Adonais. Next stanza, the nightingale does not mourn for her lost mate with such melodious pain, or does the eagle who could scale heaven like Adonais complain, soaring and screaming round her empty nest as England wails for Adonais. May of course of coin descend on him who pierced the innocent heart of Adonais and disposed the angel who dwelt in it. Next stanza, Shelly laments their winter has ended and spring is coming, but his grief is renewed. The air's streams all are filled with music. The ants, bees, swallows have come out again. Fresh leaves and flowers decorated the funeral of the passing year. The birds now pair in every bush to build their nest. Even green lizard and golden snake awake from their slumber. Next stanza, everywhere is pulsating life has burst from the heart of the earth, the wood, the stream, the field, the hill, and the ocean. All show the change of seasons. The heavenly stars flash with a softer light. All bizarre things drink in the stream of life and move abroad. Next stanza, the decaying corpse quickened by the revitalizing life of nature is converted into flowers, and like stars they light up death and spite the bone that feed upon the corpse. But nothing that we know ever dies. Shall the mind alone, which knows what it is, perish as the sword may be burnt up by blind lightning when the sheath remains intact? Next stanza, Shelly feels extremely sad because all beloved of him, Adonais, his mind and personality should be but for our grief, and that grief should itself die out again. Shelly reflects upon the futility of life. Whence we have come, why are we here? Is the world a stage, and we know not whether we are actors or mere spectators? Greek and small, all meets in death. As long as the skies are blue and the fields are green, evening will be followed by night, and night by day, and the poet's grief will be renewed from year to year. Next stanza, Adonais will not make to life when misery asks Urania, the childless mother, to wake up from her slumber and assuage the deep sorrow of her heart with tears and sigh. All the dreams and all the echoes join her in this prayer. Urania abandoned her blissful sleep. Next stanza. Urania arose like an autumnal night that emerges from the east and follows in the track of the golden day when it departed from the earth, and the earth appears a cove after the spirit has quitted by body. Urania was so struck with grief that she quickened her steps towards the tomb of Adonais. Next stanza. Urania hastened through armed camp and cities paved with stones and through human hearts. She met a great deal of resistance on the way. The obstacles bounded her tender feet, but eternal flowers sprang up from the drops of blood which shed from her feet. Next stanza. When Urania entered the death chamber, death receded for a while, shamed by the presence of the living splendor. The living breath of Urania seemed to revive Adonais, and life of pale light seemed to flush through his limbs. Urania appealed to Adonais not to leave her, but death rose and smiled and re-established all her powers. Next stanza. Urania appeals to Adonais to stay for a while and speak to her once again. She also asks to give her a kiss so that she can remember that kiss forever. Now that Adonais is dead, she would give all that she is as if it were a part of him. Urania wishes that she could be what Adonais is, but she is chained to time. Next stanza. Urania asks Adonais kids why he took to poetry too soon. He was not strong enough to protect himself from the attack of the savage critic. It would have been better if he had waited till his powers were fully matured, and then he could have made the critics tremble with fears. Thanks, best of luck.